Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Rock and Roll Union Stringcast. I am CT McManus, as always. Welcome. We have a hell of a show for you this evening. Guys, we have promoter Christina Avila, promoter out of New England, man. Really kick-ass chick. She goes back a ways with us, man. Really looking forward to talking with her. And then after that, we have band Edge of Chaos. However, now it is my privilege, as you guys know, pretty much since we switched over to the video format, the screencast from the audio about a year ago, I've kind of been riding solo and really looking for the person to kind of pick up that balance, that give a different way of inside. So it is my pleasure to introduce my brand new spanking co-host. Guys, please welcome the lead man of Chuck Taylor and the Bad MFers, Chuck Thomas himself. Chuck, thank you so much for being here, brother.
How you doing, man? It's great to be here.
Man, so we're going to really get into a lot of stuff, guys. We are scheduled so here's a little rundown of what's going to happen with this show now with Chuck on board. Next 3 weeks, we are booked with guests. And then after that, September 6th, we're going to kind of do a show, just me and Chuck, man, where we have some topics we want to discuss. We'll throw it out there ahead of time. That way you guys can keep up. And before we bring on Christine, I need to do a shout out to our sponsor, Rosenfeld Dental Associates, located 1095 Inman Avenue in Edison, New Jersey. Go rock your smile with the Rock Doc. Dave Rosenfeld, nominated one of the top dentists in Jersey for 2023. Mention Rock and Roll Union on booking your first appointment. You'll get incredible savings with that. And also a big shout out to Island Craft Company, guys. If you're looking for rock merch, rock jewelry, custom gifts, things like that, you can look them up online. That is Island Craft Company. You can look up Island Bobby online. And guys, make sure you mention Rock and Roll Union when you check them out, man, and he'll hook you up. That being said, man, that's a lot.
I gotta say, it's super dope that we have a dental sponsor, because my tooth is killing me actually right now. I'm kidding, but
hell yeah,
it really is killing me.
Up,
but I need to, it's a good thing. Like, clearly joining the Rock and Roll Union is moving on up already, because now there's a dental sponsor.
Hell yeah, dude. I'll tell you what. The cool thing with that dental sponsor is, like, a lot of rock stars go to this guy. Corey Taylor from Living Color is one of his regulars. He has a lot of people to go check him out. But yeah, dude, a really great guy. He's also a guitar player. We all call him the Rock Doc. So cool dude, cool. Man. He'll definitely hook you up. So with that being said, guys, we're going to introduce our first guest. Like I said, we go back some time with her, man. We've been with her for a long time. Christina Avila, I'm not sure if this is your first time on the video format. Have you been with us before this way?
I don't think so. I think this is my first time.
Yeah, because we go back to, man, when I was doing the audio. So it's been a long time. It's been about 2 years at least since we've spoken. And you've had some incredible life changes, some stuff that's happened. For anyone watching in or anybody just meeting you for the first time, can you introduce yourself and what you do?
Sure. My name is Christina Avila. I'm an East Coast promoter. I live in southwestern Connecticut, about an hour and a half by train to New York City. I've been promoting for the last 5.5 years. I'm Hispanic, Arab, American. I lost both of my parents recently, so this is an honor to them.
Man, my apologies for that. My condolences for that.
Thank you.
Christina, I was wondering.
Before, go ahead. Chuck, sorry about that.
What did you do prior to getting into promotions? You said you've been doing it 5.5 years?
5.5 years. I'm a full-time daycare teacher.
Oh, cool.
Monday through Friday. I've been doing that for 16.5 years. So before that, I was working different jobs, but music was something big growing up as a kid for me and my mom, my dad. I have 3 older sisters, and so music was just something that was big in my family.
That's cool. I find it always interesting to see people that have like full-time gigs and then choose to get into music and, you know, take on the extra work and really kind of put the effort in. It's pretty neat to see that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that seems to be like the gamut of everybody, because the day of the rock star, the day of the giant $1 million promoters or managers or any of that stuff is like behind us now, unfortunately. I mean, otherwise, I think all 3 of us would be we'd be doing something a lot different than what we do during the day. But growing up, Christina, what would you say is what made you want to get into the music? What were some of your favorites, some of the music that you like listening to that made you want to get involved?
Wow. Well, with my parents, I still have my dad's Glenn Miller. The big bands was huge in my house. Spanish music, my dad being Cuban. Syrian music, my mom was Arab American. Jazz, blues. When I was about 13, my parents took me to my first concert. It was a band named Menudo. Ricky Martin start. It was a boy band.
I remember Menudo.
I mean, I grew up with American Bandstand, Solid Gold, Soul Train. As far as favorite bands, I mean, I grew up with so much. I remember the days of the record stores in our mall. We had a Record Town in Graf Lawnman.
Oh, it's glorious days.
Oh, gosh, when you would wait in line for the newest CD or going through and looking through the albums.
We had no idea how good we had it then.
Exactly. I miss it.
Yep.
Oh, I miss it.
We had no idea.
The days of Sam Goody and
yes,
Sam Goody, the listening booths and the music stores, man, we really had it well. Now, as far as promotion is concerned, what made you want to get involved 5 years ago? What made you decide that that's the direction you wanted to head?
Well, I lost my dad 13 years ago, and there was 2 sets of twin brothers that I guess needed my help, and they were in their 20s, and I was young also, but not as young as them. So I want to give, credit to the War brothers. They, helped me. And then I kind of went in my own direction. I mean, I made mistakes, including one thing that I can say to anyone: do not worry about pleasing everybody else. You have to worry about yourself. Don't worry about fitting in. And I wanted to fit in so bad. I was reaching out to the LA scene. Some of those bands just did me wrong. And after that, I went to Dingbats to see this band called Rock Candy. And Ian Chris really helped me out. It was a holiday show with Ted Poley. And Ian Chris took me under his wing. So I want to give a shout out to Ian. He introduced me to this guy named Rick Fox, who was the original bass player for Wasp. And he was in the band Steeler with Ronnie Keel. And Rick has just helped me so much. So, and then I've made a lot of other decisions on my own, or I've been recommended, or I've been told, hey, check out this band, or hey, check out that band. But I've been bold enough. My parents raised me. If you want something, you got to work hard for it and ask questions. So a lot of the bands, I've just picked up music and I've asked them boldly, hey, do you guys need a promoter? And some have said yes. Some have said, let's see what you can do. And it's been great ever since.
Awesome.
Do you find it difficult to, like you have a ton of artists all over the world. How do you kind of like navigate through promoting things, remotely? Like, it seems like it's a pretty interesting gig. Like, it seems, you seem to carry yourself well. Like, I'm certain that you're probably pretty good at what you do. You seem very confident, and it's impressive. I'm curious to know how you make, how do you make all that work? It's pretty interesting.
Well, the European scene, there's a frontman from Norway, and they're 6 hours ahead of us. A band from London called Shameful Behavior, melodic band from the Netherlands, guy who was from Chile, lives in Finland. His last name is Avila, but we're not related. He's 7 hours ahead of us. So I try to do the promos maybe early in the morning. But I mean, my page is public anyway. My business page is public, so you can see it no matter what. I just try to go by maybe their time difference. I try to check out their pages. Facebook has something weird now. I don't know if it's just me, but I can't see I can't see anyone's posts anymore. I have to go to their band pages now. Or sometimes if someone wants to tag me in something, I won't get it right away. I'll get it the next day or the
I've
same
noticed some
day.
weird things about the algorithm lately too, a little bit.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of changes. So if anyone sends me anything, I apologize. I just don't always get it. So I have to go on their band pages for myself to see what's going on.
Man. And you said that you do this on top of working full time as a child care provider.
Yes.
And as an educator, I know how friggin' insane that
Yes.
can be, especially you because you're doing younger children, you're doing the little guys.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a job that I do middle school. I couldn't imagine doing the little guys. With a 4-year-old, I know how crazy it can get. But I can't imagine how you have the energy to do both between dealing with the little kids and dealing with the promotions. And a lot of times, and Chuck, you know this, in a lot of musical circles, the bands are just as bad as little kids sometimes.
Yes, but I set them straight right away. And if they can't communicate with me, they can't respect me, or if they can't be honest with me, out you go. Promoters are not like how it used to be. We all have, like yourself, like you two, Chuck, we have to work regular jobs to make money. I don't care what anyone has said. So many DJs have said to me, oh, you should be making money. With streamlining, it's so hard. Musicians are not making anything at all.
Yeah.
I'm lucky if I'm able to get merchandise in the mail. I'm lucky if I'm able to get a check or a gift card. I mean, I tell the bands I don't do anything for free anymore. If they want to offer me merchandise, awesome. If you want to do something big, put a compliment out there for me.
Yeah.
I was raised to be humble. I was raised to be gracious.
It's getting to a point where it seems like all the artists and everybody in the business is fighting over the same few crumbs.
Yes.
And it's like a payment and a share or support is, it's fair. Like sometimes in some situations, it's more, depending on. It's just a shame that people. It seems like we have to put in a lot more effort to get anywhere at this point. And when we get to any kind of place, it's difficult. Like I said, we're fighting over the same few crumbs that that are barely left. And we all feel the same passion about it that we did when everybody was making money and the business was different, but it's just not there and it's not respected the same. I feel like musicians are looked at differently now, and it's sad. It's awesome to see someone choose to put in the kind of effort you do on top of working a 9 to 5 that's pretty demanding, it seems like. So pretty awesome. As an artist, I do appreciate those types of things. The hustle is recognized and it's always respected as far as I'm concerned, especially when it's a choice.
When my daughter, I have almost 29-year-old. When she's at home with me, she works. But when she was at home with me at night, I promised myself no promoting. On the weekends, I try to do it when she's sleeping in the morning because that's my time. Since losing my parents, I look at everything differently now. On my lunchtime, I promote. Sometimes when I'm watching those little kids, sometimes just to take a little break. Especially during my lunchtime, I try to do it like on. But I have my limits, and everyone is really good about that too.
So we have one comment from Frankie James. He said, "Take these crumbs, mold it, build it together, and everyone eats at the table." And that's 100%, man, because we've seen that. And the one thing that I question, that I think about, is everybody has made a big thing out of these actors and these writers being on strike currently in Hollywood. What happens if the music scene bonds together and decides to walk out? Like,
Mm.
has anyone ever thought that we can be that kind of force where if we don't do something soon, like we brought up, Christina, you brought up that nobody's making money anymore. I mean, the streams, they're making 0.01 cent on each stream. And you already have different musicians, different people coming out. I saw a really cool clip with Snoop Dogg where he was talking to a college class full of kids and saying no one in the industry is getting what they're supposed to be getting anymore. What happens if we bond together like that? Any thoughts to that?
Wow.
Here's I think that's pretty scary. Is that as far as like the younger generation, like music isn't valued anymore. Like to a lot of generations younger than I don't know, maybe 25. I'm not saying that people aren't fans of music. I'm not saying there isn't still a love for it. However, it's not as valued as it once was to the younger generation. And it's already been that way for a bit. To where that I feel like we're almost at a point where if the musicians did do something like that, the younger generations may just, that could be this kind of break where they just move on without it. And now they're the people like us who've been involved in music our whole lives or have been around and seen a different era, we'd feel differently about it. But I feel like young people have, I don't know if it's because there's more music to consume or there's like more of what they put in the mainstream or more of what they're promoting heavily is trash, or it's like I'm not sure what it is, or if it's even a short attention span because even as like we have Spotify, I mean we pay $12 a month or whatever it is. I mean the options we have are so outrageous that like I even lots of times don't know what to listen to. And like I listen to the same stuff. I listen to the same exact shit I listened to since 1999. Like generally. Like I don't listen to many new bands. There's only a few bands that have albums out. And maybe 99 is a little bit of a stretch, but not much past that. I just stopped, being interested in new music a long time ago. And I have my reasons. I'm sure there's different reasons for everybody else, but it's become where like the younger generations, like even the audience that they're aiming for, doesn't care. Like nobody seems to give a shit. It's sad because it's like if we were to baby band together, I'm almost afraid like we lose our spot, like they'll forget about us, or this jobs would be so scarce, or because music will never not be needed. There'll always be a level of soundtrack music or ambient music and movies. There'll always be some kind of need for some kind of music in life, but being a popular, like look at the rock scene, look at the mainstream rock scene is in America, especially is there's like, what is there? We talked about this CT before when the night that we met, we've been talking about Dave Grohl. Like, what is there past that? There's not much. Like the rock scene became a certain thing and then it became this rehash thing over and over again. And it's like, there's plenty of great bands out there that no one cares, that no one's listening to. I know, a ton of great rappers in the hip hop scene. I know at least 30 rappers that live in Philadelphia that are better than any rapper you would hear on the radio, and no one is paying enough attention to these people. The only people paying attention to them are the people in the scene, this little group of us that support each other. And it's sad. I mean, there's some that make it out, but not many. And there's where it's making it out. It's like I said, it's scary to like think. Maybe if we did walk away, like a generation, 2 generations from now wouldn't care. Like it would just be like passed down to where music isn't valued.
Going back out to Frankie, he says people don't like music, they like artists. The music is failing sad. And I really feel that because if you look at like the popularity of like Taylor Swift, things like that, and they do love those artists. Do you find that to be the case, Christina? And does that come into play at all when trying to promote bands?
What's tough is dealing with the booking agents and dealing with the venues or the festivals. They're so picky in the United States. Overseas, I've watched clips of some of these like Swedish festivals or in Norway. They take up different genres and put them all on the same stage.
Mm-hmm.
Here, it's ridiculous. The booking agents are so greedy. They're so greedy. Instead of being appreciative that I contact them about a band, either they get back to me with a no thank you or they don't get back to me at all. We're overseas. It's just, I mean, maybe they have their issues too. But seeing that these festivals are overseas and they shut the town down for a whole week, grandparents are going with their grandkids, moms and dads and kids are going. My sister who lives in Switzerland was just at a festival called Montauk. They had jazz, they had hip hop, they had all kinds of music. And if things like that were happening, maybe we could bring everyone back together. I mean, that's just my opinion, but it's scary.
When you're talking about, not to cut you off, but when you're talking about the booking agents, I also think of the different ticket conglomerates like Ticketmaster, Live Nation,
Yes.
that I also feel had a big say in killing some of the industry here.
Yes, I agree.
Well, the sad thing is the industry killed itself. The industry ate itself. They overpriced CDs, they overpriced tickets, they milked every cent they could out of it. And then we all suffered because the game changed, and then money for artists became a thing of scarcity when really I guess maybe it was kind of scarce before, because labels were willing to put out money to try and see if artists take off, and then they realize they're not going to make that money back anymore. So it's like it's pulled, and it's just viewed differently. It's sad. It's like we again, the same amount of crumbs. You can absolutely build from crumbs. People have lived off of crumbs, but like it's difficult. It's a lot more difficult than it was. I know that the goal that I had, when I was in my first band 24 years ago now, doesn't exist. What I had in mind when I started getting into the music business or wanted into the music business, it no longer exists. The big record deal, as a hip hop artist, for like, I was a rock artist first and got into hip hop, and I got real into rappers and what they were signed for and all that type of stuff. And it used to be such a big deal. I think like 50 Cent was probably the last rapper that was signed to like a deal that was like, oh, that's a major label. You got $1 million, and it was a big deal. It's like, it's strange now what these people will sign for and what's offered. It's like insulting, it's like the art is lost on the fact that there's no money because the industry like ate itself. It literally ate itself to death. Like, I remember thinking at one point I bought a Guns N' Roses Appetite for Destruction album, copy the CD. This is like 2007. The album's like almost 20 years old. They wanted like $35 for the CD. That was like in Best Buy, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, there's no justification in this. It's not a special edition. It was regular old, the most basic, copy of it you could get. And it was like $35. It was like, wow, this is insane. And it was like, that was right before the end. I had an iPod probably a month later. And it's our fault too. Music became readily available to be shared. We all kind of joined in because it became the thing to do. Whether we liked it or not, we were still guilty of it. Now it's like the industry has flipped, and the Spotify thing, you get peanuts for like way too many plays. It's sad, man. It's really sad.
Oh yeah. So Christina, wanted to give you a chance to do any shout outs or to do any updates on what you got coming up. But I know we talked a little bit before we came on air about some of the things that you've had your hands in with, and upcoming events, things like that. Big shout out to Greg Fox, who you introduced me to Renaissance Rock Orchestra. Looking forward to getting Greg on an upcoming show. He's been with us before as well. But Christina, run us down a little bit about what's coming up for you and what you got going on.
So much. Well, I'm his assistant manager now. I'm still his promoter, but his assistant manager. I got them a record label overseas,
Nice.
in Germany and in Japan. It's called Escape Music Ltd. If anyone's looking for a record label, I have this person's email address and contact info. Um, oh boy, I'm working with a front man in Norway, and he's got a special project with musical guest. His name is Stian Pian Thorensen. I'd like to give a shout out to Roy Costin and his group Love Bone. They're a hard rock band from Oneida, New York. So many. Oh my gosh. Um, a really cool, like progressive metal band, young guys from Jacksonville, Arkansas, named Arise and Fall.
Awesome.
Tito Puente Jr. I saw him the end of April. I turned 50 this year. My fiance and I went to see him. Oh my gosh, we were 2 rows away from the stage. And at the end, we got to meet him. And he was lovely. He's doing a big tour in honor of his dad's legacy. His dad wrote Oye Como Va in 1923. Santana covered it in 1969 in Woodstock. And his guitar player, who's been endorsed by Sammy Hagar, Michael Anthony, his name is Rico Monaco. He shared the stage with Tito Puente Jr. And I'm helping promote those two guys. They're fantastic.
Incredible.
A band from Netherlands, a melodic rock band called Maestro. I want to give them a shout out. A guitar player from originally Chile, but now lives in Finland. His name is Eric Avila. No, we're not cousins. I wish we were, but we're not, but that's okay. A band from London. They're a 3-piece hard rock metal band called Shameful Behavior. Oh my gosh. I feel so terrible. I know I'm forgetting some bands. Oh, but really cool. They're from Cortland County, New York. They're a AC/DC tribute called Bonfire. The guitar player, Donnie, has been so good to me since losing my mom right at the heart of the pandemic. Just a lovely soul. His AC/DC, they do both Bonfire and Brian Johnson. And
Awesome.
they're mind-blowing. Their name is Bonfire. If I'm forgetting anyone,
Do you still openly take other artists? Or are you capped at this point?
I say I'm capped, but if I could work with a Hispanic band, there was an awesome Argentinian band, and because I speak Spanish, we became family. But unfortunately, they broke up. So they were like hard rock metal, but with a good message. So if anyone knows of a good Hispanic band looking for someone to work with them. Oh, I'm also working with Rick Fox. He's the original bass player from Wasp. He's incredible. He's got some things going on. Definitely want to give him a shout out. Ian Chris of Rock Candy, another one. There's a really cool local band here in Connecticut, a 90s tribute called Flannel Clad Masses. They've become family to me too. Another band called Vinyl Asylum. My buddy Tony Mack runs that band. And I definitely want to give a shout out to Tony Mack. Carlos Arroyo, who is a Bronx, New York native, now lives in Orange County, California. He has a really cool Jimi Hendrix tribute band called Stone Free. And he's working on some other things that I'm going to be helping him with too. Just so many, but everyone that's been so supportive to me, different promoters, different DJs, including UCT. You helped me so much. I couldn't do what I'm doing without you and everybody else in my life. So thank you all for just being there for me.
Happy to be here for you. And I mean, as you said, kind souls, Christina, you're one as well. And really wanted to thank you for taking some time out tonight to talk to us. Just got to wrap it up because we have another guest coming on. But really, we talk constantly. Keep me up to date with everything. I've been in touch with, just so you know, I've been in touch with some of the artists, waiting on emails back, and in the middle of setting up some of the artists that you're working with. But thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you. Oh, I remembered one band. They're from Memphis, Tennessee. They're a Southern rock band. Oh my gosh, they kicked it up a notch from Leonard Skinner. Their name is Fever Tree. Oh my gosh, check their music out. Their drummer is the original drummer from Tora Tora. They were like a bluesy hard rock band in the 80s that really didn't get much credit. So their drummer, John Patterson, oh my gosh. And Tora Tora. I'm not working with them, but I recommend anyone to listen to their music.
So, thank you so much, Christina.
Thank you. Have a great night, guys. Thank you so much, Chuck. Thank you for supporting me also.
It was nice to meet you.
You too.
Good luck with everything.
If anybody wants my info, message me and I'll send you all the links that I have.
I will.
Thank you so much. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you.
So there was Christina Avila. I had to throw this up real quick for you, Chuck. There's one band, Chuck and the Bad MFers, once said, "My name in a song, my heart melt."
You know that Frankie, he's handsome and witty and he comes with the logic. That Frankie's a good guy.
He says, "You sound great. It sounds like you did this recently."
I may have been a guest on Frankie's show just the other day. It was a fantastic interview.
But we're going to switch gears a little bit. Chuck, we met at the Battle of the Bands, Death Wedge Coffee Battle of the Bands. We're bringing in a band that was part of that different night, different round, but still part of that great experience. Guys, please welcome Frank from Edge of Chaos. Frank, thanks so much for hanging with us.
Thanks for having me, man.
What up, Frank? How you doing,
So,
brother?
All right, you?
Good, man. Thanks.
So, wanted to bring up, we were listening. We did some, like to do our research a little bit, bringing up some of the Edge of Chaos. Now, you guys kind of bill yourselves as kind of like groove metal or groove rock. And the one thing that I could not help but notice, and I didn't notice this per se when you guys were part of the Battle of the Bands, but the brand new album that you guys got out, Invictus, the very first song, The View, you could not deny the Metallica influence in that.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious. They're the reason I play guitar, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's not a bad thing at all.
I remember when I was 14, 15 years old, I heard Fade to Black on the radio for the first time. I was like, I want to do that.
Did you get a chance to check them out on the recent?
Yes, I did. I was at both nights.
Nice. I was there on Sunday. It was incredible, dude. So good.
Oh.
So good.
For whom?
Now, did you guys check out? I just heard this. I heard this and I was pretty astounded by it. That Overkill did a set in the parking lot, and then there was another band the second night that did a show in the. That's friggin' incredible.
So the first night was Prong, I do believe. The second night was Overkill.
Yeah.
And Overkill was fantastic, dude. I got to catch a good bit of their set. They sounded incredible. That outside stage was huge. That was an awesome environment, man. I got over the idea that we were in the Giants Jet Stadium. I got past that. And then I got past the heights, because it was like, I've learned that I'm getting afraid of heights as I get older. And that place was fucking steep. And we were pretty high up, and I was like looking down, like, oh, man, this is like, it's intense. But that place is huge. And, besides the Giants Jets connection, it was nice. Yeah, it was a decent place.
That stage was huge.
Yeah, it was. That was, dude, their whole idea, man, the tour, I thought it was fantastic. I'd like the no repeats, the snake pit. I mean, still having the snake pit. It looked like, I don't know where you were sitting, but like I said, we were pretty high up.
300s.
Yeah, same here. We were at like 308, I think, or something like that. And man, watching those pits down, there was like one that was all the way to the right, man. That pit was, oh, dude, it was nuts. It was like, it was exciting to watch. And the sets were fantastic. And I thought I was pretty impressed at how they didn't repeat a song. And it seemed like both sets, I wasn't there Friday night, but I saw the set, and like No, I don't think either night felt like you got ripped off of anything. You heard everything.
Not at
Both
all.
nights. Like I felt like there was not much that I was like, oh, I wish we heard this, because I was very satisfied with what we got.
I'm always holding out hope for Damage Inc. every time I see him, but
Now, am I wrong on this? But that tour is not only the no repeat from Metallica; they have different openers each night.
yep. First night was Mammoth and Pantera.
Pantera.
Second night was Ice Nine Kills and Five Finger.
Jeez, man. So they're actually I mean, I'd be more a fan of the first night openers, but they're not bringing anybody shabby on this tour with them, which is incredible.
Not at all.
Not a big fan of Five
But
Finger, so
Me either.
like I think that's a little shabby, but it's okay.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not.
I mean, I don't get it. You know what I mean? I
I'm
don't
not
have to.
here
I
to
don't have to
talk
understand everything.
Bad.
Well, if we're talking Five Finger, one of the things that blew my mind was a couple years back when Megadeth was opening for Five Finger. I didn't quite understand that one. Like, how the hell does Dave Mustaine open for Five Finger? But
I mean, at the time,
this
that
was
probably
him
makes
coming
sense. Five
fresh
Finger
off of
sell
cancer.
a lot more records at that
Who would
point.
sell more tickets?
And whatever label was probably that Megadeth was on was probably like, this is a good idea for you. It's going to put you in front of people that you should be in front of. They should know you already, but they may not. So it's interesting when that stuff happens.
The other thing was Dave was coming fresh off his cancer as well. So maybe the shortened set was a little bit more of a
that might have a lot
to
to
him
do
at
with
that point.
True. So I had this joke, this running joke with my friends that we changed all of the Megadeth lyrics to Dave complaining about how he got fired from Metallica.
What do you mean I can't play guitar?
Yeah, he's like, hello, Lars, it's Dave again. And he's just upset the whole time. And we've gotten pretty deep on that. It's pretty funny. I love Dave though.
So Frank,
yes.
Let me ask you a little bit of Edge of Chaos. Give us give us a little bit of info rundown on. I had interviewed you guys at the Death Wish Coffee Battle of the Bands, but I also wanted to. I may have asked you this then, but for anyone that didn't watch those interviews, how long has Edge of Chaos been around? Tell us a little bit about the band.
We started in 2015 under a different name, which was Reckless X. We went a bit heavier, so we changed the name to Edge of Chaos, and we've been trucking ever since. That was probably around 2016. We changed the name.
Nice. How has it been? Like, has there been any lineup changes? Are you guys still the same unit you always were?
Our bassist recently had to step down due to health concerns.
Gotcha.
So we have a new bassist. Originally we had a different singer, but we started going heavier. It was a little out of his wheelhouse.
Good to see you. Be right back.
So they decided I would take over.
Gotcha. Now, as far as the writing goes within the band, is that something that's done by maybe one or two individuals? Is that something done that usually you guys do as a group?
Usually it's just we set aside like fall. We're going to write. We get in a room and John, play a drum beat. And we just go. Somebody
now, are you guys constantly recording when that's going on?
Yep, always. Somebody will noodle with something.
I've talked to a lot of bands that say, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Frank. I've talked to a lot of bands that have said that they constantly keep that recording going just in case they stumble upon something and they don't miss it. You guys kind of subscribe to that?
Yep. If it's not recording, then what are you doing? We'll sit down on our own and we'll come up with riffs and riff tapes. Bring them in, show everybody, oh, that's good.
Have you guys ever heard the story about how Mick Jagger wrote Start Me Up? Where he had a recorder that he would just record himself jamming out to, and he passed out. He woke up and it was still recording, and he found it. Like, that right there is a lesson on why you should always be recording if you have the option.
Always record.
Hell yeah.
And in this day and age, there's no excuse to not have the option to.
Right. It's incredibly cheap to set up a small home studio that could get you pretty quality
If
pretty
you're
quality.
demoing.
Yeah, right.
Now, where are you guys located, Frank?
Vineland, New Jersey.
Vineland. So you were right down the street from Battle of the Bands.
Literally around the corner.
I don't think Chuck's too far from that area either. Are you, Chuck?
I'm in Woodbury Heights. I'm like 30 minutes away. However, though,
Yeah.
we have the open mic every Thursday at Casey Ray's, man. You guys should come through one night. We'd absolutely love to put you on a feature. We'll like exchange contact when we, part ways on the show. But we'd love to have you come through, man. We're there every Thursday. Got a pretty good group of people to come, to come out. We're trying to kind of get it going. So we'd love to have you for a feature. We could absolutely set that up.
We would love to.
Great. That'd be great.
Now, how has everything been going with this new album?
Good. We released one music video already. We're gonna start filming another music video soon for the ballad "Fire in the Angels Fell."
There we go. Yeah, I want to say that the album seems to have a plethora of different sounds, different feels. It's not like for me, I can't pinpoint Edge of Chaos into one category or into one particular sound or anything like that. Each song seems to have its own vibe.
I fully agree with that. But it's funny because I totally agree with the groove metal description too, though. You guys absolutely are groove metal, but there is a lot of other things there.
We like to describe ourselves as what happens when Metallica and Lamb of God have a baby and send it to their uncle Judas to raise.
Oh, wow. I like that. Can't go wrong with that.
That's awesome.
There's no go wrong.
So, as far as upcoming schedule is concerned, you guys got any gigs or anything planned?
August 25th, we're going to be at Lot 13 in Bayonne. And then the 27th, we'll be at the Rusty Nail.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
Good old Rusty Nail. Yeah, we were just there this past weekend, man. Great place, great ownership. Loves the scene.
I love them.
Oh, man, Chris is the man, dude.
And then November 4th, I think it is, we're going to be at the Strand Theater in Lakewood.
Strand Theater, awesome. Now, is it just you guys on that bill, or who's on that bill for the Strand?
I know as of right now, it's us and Necro Garden.
Okay. Now, and also as far as like social media, websites, that kind of thing, how do people find Edge of Chaos?
On Facebook, we are facebook.com/edgeofchaos4. Our website is edgeofchaosband.com, which has all the links to all of our socials.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask both you gentlemen, because you both took part in the Death Wish Coffee Battle of the Bands. Wanted to ask how it was being on that stage. Like, that's probably a bigger stage than you usually perform on. How was that experience for both you guys?
You go first, Frank.
It was great, man. It was good to play a hometown show. It was a massive stage. It was fun to kind of run around that big of a stage.
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. It's funny because I was lucky enough that another band had canceled and we were asked to win, and it was like, I really only took the gig to play at Landis. It was like I wasn't sure where how it would pan out. It wasn't like, not that I wasn't confident, but I was also not like expecting too much. It was like, hey, we get to play at Landis. That's like awesome. That's more than enough, And then the experience was incredible, having a legit backstage and all that stuff. Doing this stuff a long time. I never had nothing like that. It was real cool. And the people there, fantastic. Like such great, welcoming people, man. They're very supportive of everybody. And I mean, it was amazing. It was something I didn't expect to happen so quickly. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
And the last thing I'm going to ask you, Frank, is as far as finding your music is concerned.
Wherever you get your music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you want.
Yeah, thumb through your Spotify list is impressive, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
your stuff's good, man.
Been listening to you this past the whole week, man, and you guys are really incredible, man. You got a really good vibe to you, and that whole Battle of the Bands, as far as a fan aspect is concerned, for me, it's incredible to hear how much talent is actually out there.
It really is.
So, but Frank, thank you so much for taking some time out to hang with us, brother.
Thanks for
And
having me.
please drop anything on the Rock and Roll Union page regarding upcoming shows, things like that, so we can keep up
Will
to
do.
date.
Frank, it
Yep.
was a great
All right,
chatting with
thanks,
you, bro.
Frank.
You too, guys.
Keep in touch, man.
Have a great
Will
night.
do. You too.
Good night.
So there was Frank from Edge of Chaos, man. Really cool dude. And your first show under your belt, Chuck. How you feeling?
We made it. We made it, dude. We made it through. It was like flawless. And like I was even outside in the car for a bit, and then my phone almost died, and I somehow managed to squeeze my way through without too much of an interruption. It was pretty good. It was fantastic, man. It was good to be on the show. I hope I brought something to it that, you know, switched up. I loved chatting with, you know, both our guests. They were fantastic. It's cool to learn.
You know,
I'm looking forward to what's ahead, man.
I usually book this show as like an hour. I try to do about an hour. I was doing 2 hours at one point. It seemed to be a bit much as far as attention spans are concerned. Some people just like to have the short, sweet end of the deal. So we try and keep it like that. But we have about a couple minutes to kill, and I figured I'd bring up one of our topics. One of the things that we're going to start doing on this show that I haven't done because it was kind of weird to do it by myself. But now with somebody to talk to about various topics, I text you this, and it was an idea that went through my head going to a show this past week, was the use of iPads or various other aids on the stage. What are your feelings about that as a performer? I kind of feel that, you know, don't make it obvious. That's my biggest pet peeve. If you look like you're reading a book the entire time you're on stage, I kind of got an issue. But what do you think, Chuck?
So it's funny that, you know, of all things, that like you saw, you know, I saw our band perform, and you know, I like I said, I come from a hip hop background. I'm a rapper first, or I'm not a rapper first. I'm sorry, I was a rock guy first, and then I was rapping. So the Bad Motherfuckers were rap songs first before they had a band there. You saw how many words I say per song. Like I say a lot of words. You know, I have like 2 to 3 16-bar verses that are very wordy. I try to overdo it with words. I say all my hooks. I say every word of our stuff live. That's like almost unheard of with hip hop anymore. Most hip hop performers have their vocals on the track, and they're just sort of like jumping in and out of like a basically karaoke. And like, dude, I have to remember a lot of lyrics. And like, I mean, I'm not saying that I'm not bragging in any way that I'm like better than anyone. However, the way I see it is there's no excuse. If I can remember all those lyrics, like I obviously practiced them enough to remember them. It can be done. You don't need an iPad or anything to aid you if you practice. I feel like it's, especially if you're in a band, say you're, you know, Motley Crue, and you can't remember the fucking lyrics to Home Sweet Home or Dr. Feelgood or Kickstart My Heart. Like, dude, I got a problem with that. I've been doing this like how long? I know.
How many nights in a row? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I know the lyrics. Why don't you? Why aren't you? I know you're probably not listening to your band as often as I may be listening to your band as a fan, but I mean, you know how I remembered my lyrics were I was lucky. I had friends that, you know, when I started rapping, all my friends were rock guys. We had bands and stuff, and my friends were like, "Oh, you want to be a rapper? We're going to put you through like some shit. We're going to make you a good rapper." So my friends would, like, my one friend got a set of turntables and learned how to scratch, and he would mix beats for hours and just throw words at me, and I would just freestyle. And dude, like, they made me a good rapper. They made me able to remember words. They made me able to, like, and it's not easy. It definitely, I practiced a lot, dude. I practiced a lot over the years. And like I said, it's not, but like, you know, I do this because I want to do it. So if you are that dedicated to be playing shows to where you're charging people money to come see you, know the fucking lyrics, dude. It's pretty simple. It's fair, you know.
What are your feelings? What are your feelings as far as like a local act is concerned, or a cover band is concerned, or someone in that kind of aspect?
Okay, so maybe I'll give the cover bands a little slack because maybe they don't know every song, and that's fine. I can understand. That's probably a lot of songs to learn. Just because you grew up in the South Jersey area and you're in a certain age range doesn't mean you know the fucking words to Tom Petty's American Girl, you know,
Right.
or like, you know, the cliche, the lit and fuel songs or whatever the fuck, you know, My Own Worst Enemy, stuff like that. You may not know all the lyrics to that, the stuff that people quote unquote want to hear. So like, okay, maybe I can give you a pass on that. Because I've actually, with the open mic at Casey Ray's, I've done some vocals. Last week we did Life in the Fast Lane by the Eagles. Not a huge Eagles fan. I know they're great and all. I don't know them that well. I know the song Life in the Fast Lane enough that I had to read the lyrics and I knew how it went. I just didn't know the words.
Right.
And, you know, that's not a song. Like, I was just kind of up on stage. I'm just getting new, like, into singing with the band. We started doing, like, Guns N' Roses, It's So Easy. Paranoid, we did it like a couple. We're trying to grow the list every week just to get my vocals to more of a singing than a rapping kind of thing. So like sometimes they'll just drop a song on me where I'm like, I know the song, but not off, you know, I don't know every lyric or, you know, it's familiar enough. So, you know, I can't say that, but that's not my song though. I think for his original act, you wrote the shit, you can remember it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
You know, if you wrote
I
it, you can remember it.
agree with that 100%. But like,
If you could charge us
I
money to
feel
come see
as
you do it, you should be able to remember it.
if you are I also feel like this though. If you're a cover band and they're paying your band, say a couple $100, come out and do a couple sets, 90% of those songs you should know.
That's fair. That's fair. However, there's plenty of
My
times
big
where somebody
issue
fills
comes
in or jumps in a spot that's not typically there. So that's why it's like you kind of give a gray area with the cover bands because you never know if it's like a last minute thing or this guy's a pro and just doesn't know
right.
the songs.
If there's a request, or something along those lines, but as far as a professional cover band going out and doing a set and you're prepared for that set, I think that's all part of preparation.
I
Maybe
agree. If you have 3 planned sets going in and you've had time to get with the band, like if your original band and practice, you should be able to. It's muscle memory, man. Just do it.
that I agree with. Yeah.
Do it over and over again. It's fair. It's not. You're getting paid decent money to like play, you know, songs that aren't that great. You know, and so like people that don't care enough about music or dancing to it and drinking, you know, it's kind of, and it works like
that's always one of my questions when I have a cover band or a tribute band on is, and to just be honest, are there songs you get tired of playing, but you play because they're just requested that often or people expect it that much? I mean, you can't tell me that people aren't getting tired of playing Leonard Skinner or Brown Eyed Girl or things along those lines.
It's funny you mentioned that, and I mentioned this earlier. Do you think that it's even remotely possible that Keith Richards is still excited to play Start Me Up, dude?
No.
There's no way on fucking earth that he has played that song for 50 years, a fairly, you know, a pretty good amount. They tour, you know, obsessively. They've toured for decades, it seems like, you know.
Yeah.
I think they're still on the tour from, you know, Steel Wheels back in, you know, 93. I think they're still currently on that tour, you know, it seems like.
They've been together
There's no way you could still be excited
years.
about. Like, could you still be excited about? It's not possible. So, as a cover band, I can imagine, because like I said, there's probably a lot of songs you don't like. Like, I don't really like the Eagles that much. Not a big, like, again, I understand their greatness. I recognize that. And, you know, I have nothing against them, but they're not a band I listen to regularly. So, like, when they drop Life in the Fast Lane on me, it's a song I should probably know. And I do. Like I said, generally, I know it. I've heard it a million times. But I don't know it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like...
hell yeah.
And that, I guess, like I said, imagine that happens a lot, especially when you're in, like, for instance, we have, you know, the Casey Racing, we have the band Dynamite, you know, they're covered, we do it every week. Some weeks there's a bunch of other artists playing, a bunch of people come out and sign up. Some weeks there's not many, and Dynamite has to play for an extra hour than usual just to keep somebody playing, you know. So it comes down to, like, you know, people just shouting out songs on stage. Do you know this? Do you guys know this? You know, all right, let's try that, you know, just to keep something playing. Fortunately, like it's like, you know, we're talking about Dylan from Zenora and, you know, that group of friends, you know, they're just, I mean, the musicians in that group, man. I'm fucking lucky to be in that group of people, man. It's an honor. But, like, you know, watching these guys put stuff together on the fly is impressive, man.
So with this coming close, we're coming to a close. Chuck, anything to plug? I know you keep mentioning the open mic nights. Um, what do you got going on this week? Anything you want to plug? I know the open mic night.
So every Thursday we're at Casey Ray's with the house band Dynamite. Dynamite open mic. We're there every week. We're trying to make it grow. It's like at the hometown of Vinelands that Edge of Chaos is from, and Land of Cedar. And that's also in support of those guys that are so grateful. We're so grateful that they let us come jam out there and do our damn thing. And then every Tuesday night we're also in Paulsboro at the Riverside Inn. It's generally the same house band, Dynamite. It's a bit of a different crowd though. We get a lot of different artists to come in there. It's more of like a hometown show for us, if you will, for for as hometown as it gets. Like I said, Vineland's a little bit of a travel for us. We do have a lot of people that do make the trip, but Paulsboro is a little more. We have a lot more home, connections, and a lot of great bands show up. Last time we had Johnny Slide as a feature. They're fucking incredible. I don't know if you know them or not. I believe they played Landis recently. I don't know. Were they on the Battle of the Bands? No.
Yeah, Johnny in the Water.
No, Johnny in the Water was, but I'm talking about Johnny Slide, which is actually a different band. In fact, Matt Stratt is here right now. He just, like I said, we were down the shore. I told you earlier. Matt got here while we were doing the podcast. I don't know if you saw somebody walk by a couple minutes ago, but that was Matt.
Awesome.
Yeah, so we have a good group of people, and we're trying to all genres welcome, man. Bring whatever you got. You fucking want to get on stage and do whatever you want to do. We're open to it. Comedy. We have comedians come there and fucking bomb. We have comedians come. We haven't had a good comedian, I'll be honest. But if you want to, you want to have comedian, well, no, that's not true. We do have one regular. That's it. He's pretty funny. He's pretty good, and he's a great guy. And he's become part of the family recently. He's been showing up often, and he's very supportive. And we're all supportive of each other. And again, even the shitty comedians, we're still supportive of. We just, but no, please, if anybody's out there, any artists out there, please come out. More than welcome. If you'd like to get a feature sometime, we're open to that too. We're always looking for feature acts. You can reach out to me, connect through here, and as far as my band, Bad Motherfuckers, we're working on the demo. Live from Your Mama House is going to be coming out by the end of the year, hopefully. And that's just it. We're just kind of on the grind. We played there, Bad Motherfuckers are there every week. Both venues. We're always almost like a week. I get to be a feature every week because my band is the house band, and
that's awesome.
I'm grateful for that. So we're always there. Like last time we played a long set. Some nights we play like 2 or 3 songs. We need to keep it moving if there's more artists in the building, but. It's a great environment, man. We're looking to bring come all.
Awesome. While we're plugging things, I just want to throw this out there. It says Rock and Roll Union Island Craft Company this Saturday at Sweeney's. We have a 90s night, our first night in Sweeney's. We have an Alice in Chains tribute, a Foo Fighters tribute, and a Green Day tribute starting at 9 o'clock this Saturday night at Sweeney's, man. It's going to be a friggin' banger, man. Looking forward to it. It's going to be the last live Rock and Roll Union event until November in our Rock for Recovery.
What town is Sweeney's in again?
I was told it's near the.
Definitely PA. I can't remember the town. I was just there.
I was told it's near King of Prussia Mall.
Yeah, it's out that way for sure. I can't remember the town, but I just saw Sonora there a few months back. Fantastic fucking venue. Very cool venue. Very.
This is actually our first time in the venue.
Oh, dude, you'll love it. You'll love it. It's set up so perfectly. Where the stage is and where the bar is. It's a really cool spot. It flows very nicely and pretty big. Sonora did. They had a pretty good crowd. It was a good environment. And it seems like one of those places that regularly gets a good group of people out there to see good music. And that sounds like a great lineup. In fact, if I'm back from the shore by the time Saturday rolls around, I may stop out because that's. I know my buddy was very excited to see that lineup.
So, guys, this is it for us. Any last words for him, Chuck?
Come back next week because we're just getting started.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. And until next time, don't just leave it. Leave it better. Have a great week, everybody.
Rock on.